and 93% in my 10th standard. So, based on this, this shows my commitment towards excellence. So, apart from my academic curriculum, I have gained. I actively participate in like co-curricular and extracurricular activities through which I have gained leadership qualities and teamwork and skills. So, I was the director of the Focus department, which is a student governance body of CSE Honors department at our university. And I was the coordinator of the hash include our university's national level techno feasta. So apart from this, I have done few certifications which include AWS Cloud Practitioner, AWS Developer Associate, and Red Hat Enterprise Application Developer Certification. So my coming to my hobbies include practicing yoga and exploring the world of music.
Okay, that's fantastic. So overall in your academics, you are at 95+%, is it?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, that's really great, impressive. So let's understand your technical uh, knowledge, Shravan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
So what is the application? Tell me, what is application?
An application maybe generally a software is a simple code that we give to a computer. So an application it basically has a purpose to do. We humans communicate with the system in its language. So an application may be a software or it may be a tech, what we call it, a framework that we use to develop, or an application specifically it has a purpose to do and it provides a service to the users.
Okay, any example?
An application, there are different types of applications which include Android application, web application, and iOS application. So web applications include what I mean. Android applications include WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Swiggy, Zomato. So we do have the web versions of these Android applications as well.
Okay. So what I understand from you is this, right? Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Application in the sense.
Yeah, maybe I may not be correct in terms
No,
of
no,
the
you're
definition of the
almost there.
application.
You're almost
Yeah,
80% there. Okay.
yeah,
For
yeah.
example, I
Okay.
will give you one example.
Yeah, okay.
www.icicibank.com.
Yeah,
This is
okay.
on a website. A
Website.
website which will provide a service to the end user for their business purpose, like for their payments, for their salary, for their credit card payments, for their movies, for their expenses. Someone end user who is using application for the purpose of business transactions is considered
Yeah,
as an application. The one
application.
application, the banking application is ICICI Bank.
Yeah,
Okay.
awesome.
Now the another example you told is very correct, which is a Swiggy.
Mm.
Swiggy is an application which is providing a service for end users to order a food. Correct.
Food.
Someone who is
Yeah,
accomplishing their need with the help of application, with the help of app or a website, that will be considered as an application. Now let's come to the next level. These applications will be built based on which code? Either it can be Java code, or it can be a .NET code, or it can be Angular code. It can be anything, okay, that you have mentioned earlier, like Android web application, something like that. So
yeah.
any application can be built on any code. At the end of the agenda is the application has to be up and running fine. Okay, we are clear about application, correct? Let me
Yeah,
understand.
that's
Let me ask you another question. How this application goes live? I mean, for example, if you have to order a food for yourself from Swiggy, Swiggy application has to be up and running fine, right?
yeah,
In
that's
the live market,
yeah.
which means when I say live, in our IT terminology, you will call us production environment is up and running fine, correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Production environment. Production environment means live. So when your application is live means it's in production environment in IT terminology. So to go to production, what the application has to do? It has to
It
develop.
has to be deployed. First, initially it has to be developed, and then
Yeah.
whatever all the bugs or the test cases that have been designed, all those test cases have to be passed. We need to get the approval, and then so based on the technology that we have used, so upon those requirements, we accordingly deploy it into the
Perfect.
cloud.
Perfect.
So
Now next is QA, UAT, pre-prod, and then pre-prod, and then production. This is how the stages, this is how the environments is called as in the IT department. Okay. Now this is your
okay.
environment. Like we have a, before we going live into the production, we have a multiple stages in the development. We have a one stage in QA, UAT, pre-production, and then production. See, this number of stages can be any number of stages based on the company. Okay. So we are clear so far, right? Now let's come to the role of DevOps. What's this DevOps is doing? Here, to go your application live, someone needs to write the code, right? Developer is going to write the code. Who is going to write the code for an application? In which language? In Java or .NET or in Angular, in any language or C++, whatever, wherever he is comfortable, let him build, doesn't matter. So developer is going to build the code. After that, what will happen? Admin will come into the picture. What this guy is going to do? This guy is going to deploy, correct? Deploy the application. So when you doing the deployment, what you need? You need a web server or application server, correct? This is where you are going to deploy your application. Okay, next question is, what is a web server? Any idea? What is a web server?
Web server, maybe it can be a cloud platform, like generally, so as to handle all the server requirements and all. Generally, if an organization has to build a product and so as to
Hold on.
make it available to the users.
Hold on. For example, in your laptop, if you're typing www.gmail.com, what is the output
Yes,
you're going to get?
so I'm going to get the web page of a mail.
www.gmail. See, I'm typing over here. Okay.
An email interface we are going to get.
Correct. So as I've already logged in, so that's why this is showing me my already credentials. Okay. So ignore this. If someone across the world hitting a www.gmail.com will get a common result, which means that request is going to handled by web server.
Yes. So basically, the product that we have built, so it's available to each and every user.
Static
So
content request will be handled by static content. Static content means result is same across the world.
okay.
You got my point now?
Yeah.
What is the application server? For example, after giving www.gmail.com, I'm giving my credentials, my Gmail and my password. Now that will be considered as a dynamic content because it's a user specific. Dynamic content request will be handled by application server. Now you are clear?
Okay. Yeah,
This is user specific. So what we understand, first we understand what is application. Application nothing but anything which will help end user for the purpose of a business, which will make a monetary transaction and all the common people can use for the business purpose. That is considered as an application. The example of application I have given is ICICI Bank. You told me Zomato or Swiggy. Absolutely fine. it doesn't matter for us what business they do, but the thing is end users are using and some revenue is generating out of it. That is what the key point. Now, what is application? Application means like as we discussed, our Swiggy, someone is using, it has to up and running. If up and running means it's a production. So in IT language, if you talk about production, before production, we have multiple environments, development, QA, UAT, pre-production, and production. Okay. Now let's coming to the DevOps point of view. We need to understand who is a developer, who is the admin, what is the static content, what is the application server content. Which means who is handling dynamic request, who is handling static content request. Now we are very clear, correct? Now what is the DevOps is going to do here is, DevOps is a combination role, development plus operations role.
Operations.
So this is considered as an DevOps. It means the person who is handling as a DevOps admin, he need to interact with the developer. He need to get the code from the developer. He need to build the code from the developer. Whatever he get a code, then he deploy the code into the application. So what is his role? He a DevOps admin interact with developer. Once he get the code, he will deploy the code. Once he deploy the code, what he will do? He'll check with the testing team, interact with the testing team, and do the testing of test cases. And then again deployment will happen. So developer, sorry, here is like not deploy, it's build the code. Build, testing, test cases, and then deployment. After building the code, what he will do? He will verify the code. Code is given by the developers is good or not, or someone what they will do first, they'll verify the code and build the code, and after that they'll do testing. It could be anything. So based on the architecture, this is how. Now you are clear about how the structure goes in DevOps. DevOps
Yeah,
means
yes, sir.
development plus operation. It means the DevOps guy need to have an end-to-end role in the IT department. He has to deal with the developers. He has to deal with operations as well. DevOps admin interact with developer, interacts with the testing team. So he started, his role starts with verifying the code, building the code, running the test cases, and then deployment. So he's involved in the entire software development lifecycle, SDLC, everywhere. Okay. Now, how these things happens is, 1 minute. I'm getting one call, just a minute. Sorry, Shravan, I was on another call. Any doubts so far, Shravan?
It's we generally define DevOps as it's a combination of DevOps and operations team.
Correct.
So it's because we need to bridge the gap between the development and operations team. So here I don't have until like the specific knowledge what exactly the developers do, what exactly the operations team do, and who exactly does the work of testing under.
Okay, 1 minute. The very good question. Developer work will be done by development team. You are not a developer. There is a development team of Java or the .NET. Whatever they build the code, you will get the code. They will give you code. They will give you code. And next, testing team. Testing team is separate. They will give you test cases. What is your role here?
Uh,
Need to
so
run the
as to
test cases.
okay.
Okay, you just need to run the test case. What do you need to do here? When they give you the code, you need to verify the code. Means quality of the code. How the quality of the code is it 80%, 90%? Any bugs are there in the code? You will have some separate tools to verify the code quality. Okay. Once you verify the code, what is going to do? You build the code. It means, for example, they'll give you a combination of multiple folders. You will convert that multiple folders into the WAR file.
Okay.
Which means this
Generally, we
WAR
need
file.
to integrate all
Yes,
the files that
yes.
we get.
Now this WAR file is going to deploy in an application server, which I have discussed. I've already told you application server means a dynamic content. User specific credentials will everything will be there. Security and everything will be there. So developer is still needed. Testing team is still needed. What you are going to do as a DevOps guy means you are going to verify the code. You are going to get the inputs from a testing team. You are running the test cases. So overall here is you are not doing anything. You are just running everything. Someone is giving you, like you are playing the role of Zomato only, or you are playing the role of Swiggy. It means someone is giving you the build code. You are just running the code and make sure code is up and running fine. If there is a problem with the code, then you go back to the developer. Hey, I see there is a no code quality. Code quality is not meeting the standards. How do you decide either the code is not meeting the standard? Means the code quality has to be above 85%. How you verify the code? There's a multiple tools called Sonar Cube. This is a Sonar Cube which will help you to understand and verify the code. You getting my point? Now, if something goes wrong with the test cases, what do you do? If test cases fail, what do? You go back to testing team. Go back to testing team and say, test cases are not good, so I am not proceeding with the deployment. I am not proceeding with the deployment. The deployment is stopped. Because we can't do the deployment if the test cases fail. Test cases is failed only, then deployment is also stopped. If the test case is success, deployment will be done. You understand now your role here?
Yes, sir.
Still, you are not doing any development job. You are not doing any job of testing team. Code will be given to you. Application code will be given to you by developers. So you don't need to worry about building the code. Testing team will give you the test cases. You need to run it. So overall, what is your role here? You are going to build the code. You are going to run the test cases and you are going to do the deployment. So now, any questions so far?
No, no, previously, like till now, I was thinking like development and operations team. So we need to have all the developer knowledge, or we need to learn all the frameworks and all. So where does this DevOps term comes in this picture and all? So now I
Correct.
got the clarity, like DevOps engineer is different from developer and all. So
Exactly.
a
Initially,
DevOps in
correct. Initially, when I started my career into DevOps, I was also thinking the same thing. Either I need to be part of a development because I don't know coding, so I can't.
yeah, yes.
I don't know how to manage the test cases. So I was worried. When I started working there, I see in DevOps also still the development team is there, testing team is there. It's all like overall process is same. It's just a technology framing work is different and tools is different. But still, you don't need to worry about the coding. Coding part is done by developers.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Now, what is the pipeline here? Pipeline stands for SCM. SCM is, I'll tell you what is SCM. Next is, after SCM, you have two things. One is the CI, one is CD.
CD.
What is SCM? Any idea?
No idea about SEO.
Okay, source code,
Core source management. Okay, okay.
source code management. What is the source code management? In the DevOps, you have a multiple tools like GitHub, GitLab. You have code commit. You have Azure repos. Now, what these tools are going to do? I'll show you one sample tool here. Okay, it's taking my credential. See, this is the tool, okay? I have, this is my account. I'll take you some sample report. This index.html. This is a file where you are going to manage the code. This is a sample, okay? I'll show you one real-time application. Imagine eShop on web is a repo, okay?
Okay.
Okay, this is a web-based application. If I go to this application, I just want to show you how the code is. The code is originally located here, .NET architecture, eShop web, which means this application is built on .NET code. Okay, can you see the code here? Like this is the code. SRC. SRC stands for source code. So if you look at the code, this is a core applications. We no need to bother what is in this folder, what is the content, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm just giving you the walkthrough. So this, you just need to understand what is the name of the application. This is a web-based eShop application, which is built on .NET. How I am saying based on .NET? Because you saw the name earlier, correct? I showed you, if you remember. Let me go back.
Yeah, there is a tag name behind the folder.
Exactly.
Below the folder.
Tagging
C
is
sharp.
very important. Yeah. See, .NET. Now this is the code. Now how you run the code, that is a question DevOps team needs to know. How you convert the code into the WAR file.
Okay.
That is our question. Okay. How you run the code, how you deploy the code, how you run the test cases. That is our job here. Okay. Now you understand how the code is. This is a GitHub is a website which is the free, where the developers will build the code and give it to you like this. Hey, Shravan, my code is there in already in this website. Can you go and pull the code and build the code?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So now you got to understand about the source code, correct? Pipeline means SCM. So source code management. Okay. Next is the CI.
Continuous integration.
Here what, okay, I'll tell you. Maintenance of the code given by the developers. So clear so far?
Yes, sir.
You got a clear picture about SEM. See, there's a lot of things you need to learn. So I'm just giving you a brief overview, step by step, so that you can catch up with a 3 o'clock session. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
What is a CI? Continuous integration.
Integration.
Continuous integration. What does it mean? What does it mean? Continuous integration. Any idea?
Maybe whatever all the updates that have been done in the individual files, so we need to continuously maybe integrate all those files and
Perfect answer.
like,
Perfect answer. Continuous changes has to be updated in the code in that particular branch. That is considered as a continuous integration. Continuous integration means continuous changes has to be updated. That's a perfect answer. Continuous update, you can say. Continuous update or changes. Where? To the code. Correct. Which means if you open your GitHub, there is something called master. Master means main branch. Main
main
branch
branch.
means live. Live means production. Normally, no
Mm,
one will touch the code in the master
main
branch.
branch.
Main branch or master branch. Normally, what they will do, they'll create their own branch. Okay. So, for example, what do you do? If I have to get the code, what I will do? I'll take this code. I have already installed Git on my machine.
Git. Yeah. Okay.
Git on my machine. So I will go to here command prompt. I will give this link.
So basically, we actually pull the repository from the remote server, that is from the Git to our local machine.
Perfect. We are pulling the code from the remote repository to our local. We are creating our own branch and we are doing the changes. And we again push back the changes, but not to the master. We are doing it to the lower level.
We do again.
Development, staging, production. I have tell you, right? These are the multiple.
Yeah, yes.
So in these environments, we are going to do the changes. You got the perfect point. That is the meaning of continuous integration. Okay. Continuous integration will have a multiple layer, multiple things like which branch you want to do the changes, because no one will go to directly to the main or master, because main or master means production, production means live. No one will touch the live environment. You have to do the changes in future, then you have to do it in development, then you have to do it in a QA branch. Okay, then you have to do it in UAT environment, then you have to do in a pre-prod, then you have to do in production. You're clear on this?
Yeah, yes.
Future, development, QA, pre-prod, and prod. So you got a clarity about continuous integration. Now, what are the multiple tools, sir, in this continuous integration? Means like the way we have a GitHub, GitLab, code commit, Azure repos. Okay, these are all the multiple tools. I'll show you these tools later because we need to have a temporary server, then we need to involve, and then we have to do. Okay, what is a continuous integration and what is multiple tools? Jenkins. Jenkins will help you to build the code. I'm not able to type Azure, so Z in my Azure DevOps. So Jenkins, Azure DevOps, GitLab is also used for pipeline. Then like that, we have a multiple tools. See here, GitLab, you can manage the code and you can manage the pipeline as well. Like these are the multiple tools for CI. Clear?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Now next is continuous deployment. What do you mean by continuous deployment? Continuous deployment means whatever the code has been given by the developers, which is built and which is converted into the WAR file, and that WAR file you are going to deploy. Where you are going to deploy? In application server. What is your application server?
main
which
driver.
handles a dynamic content. In a DevOps point of view, you have something called a Docker
Okay.
and Kubernetes. So overall, in this DevOps technology, how many tools you have to learn? You have to be strong in one SCM code. Either it is GitHub, GitLab, Code Commit, Azure Repos. One tool, CI, Jenkins, Azure DevOps, or GitLab. In CD, but CD you need to have knowledge on both, and knowledge and experience both on Docker and Kubernetes. Now you
Okay.
understand the overall picture of DevOps. Am I clear so far, or any doubts?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So what tools you have to learn in terms of DevOps, you need to understand. What is a Docker? I'm having less than 5 minutes now. So I will create another session once this session ends. Okay.
Okay.
Because again, we have to connect at 3 o'clock. So do you want me to continue, or do you have a patience for a 3 o'clock session, or we'll stop here only? Because fresh mindset is very important to listening to the trainer. That guy is going to take a session for more than 3 hours, 3 to 6.
Okay. Okay.
Or if you say, I will take a break, sir, that's good. Let's catch up at 3 o'clock. What is your wish?
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with anything. Like I
Okay.
can continue till 3 o'clock or
Okay, 1 minute.
so
Let me stop the recording.